Well, now you gave me a teaser before we were on mic, and you said you have an update for fructose.
Yeah.
Tell me this update.
So if anyone wants to roll back the reel and they want to go back to the fructose episode,
Yeah.
sugar with half the consequences,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
Okay, so since then I've talked to people, and people have listened to that episode and talked to me about it.
Okay.
And that there's universally one thing that is said universally.
What's that?
Oh, I can't believe fruit is healthy. Fruit is healthy. Fruit is healthy. Fruit is healthy.
So universally,
Fruit is healthy.
they all have this accent.
This is what people
that you're
say.
saying?
Fruit is healthy.
Okay.
Fruit is healthy. They say it in different ways. Mad, like they're just letting me know so that I don't look like an idiot anymore in public. Fruit is healthy.
Okay.
Okay.
Apple a day.
Apple a day keeps the
day.
doctor away. Okay. I read from The Guardian from 2018.
6 years ago. 5 years ago.
From The Guardian. The Daily Mail. Well, that's not a very good one. The Weather Channel. Weather Channel reported on it.
Okay.
Zookeepers in Australia no longer feed fruit to the animals. Because
wacky Australian zookeepers.
No, this is not just there. It's everywhere in the world. Zookeepers do not feed fruit
Well, you led with the Australian
to animals
thing, so
anymore. Well, it's just that's what the note. But there's other ones all over the world. People don't feed fruit to the animals anymore.
Was it
because
causing them to get like
they were getting obese?
Yeah.
Because the fruit has been selectively bred for over 100 years for sweetness. And so, for all you people out there
Wait a minute, no
who've
more
come up to me on the street and been like, fruit is healthy. False. It's not true. Fruit is not healthy. It has probiotics, it has fiber in it, blah, 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 blah. All of that has been ripped away from us by selective breeding to make them as sweet as possible. If you buy, I don't know, some kind of weird heirloom version that's 100 years old, first of all, you won't like it because it won't have any sugar in it.
Yeah.
But it'll be healthy because it'll be mostly fiber and vitamins instead of like just chock full of sugar.
So what do they feed instead of?
This says that gorillas go nuts for pine cones with mustard and it squirted into it. So people, stop coming up to me. Stop telling me fruit. There are some low sugar fruits traditionally,
Sure.
Like blueberries. Even modern blueberries are not that
The glycemic
sweet.
index.
Yeah, they're low.
Right.
And but if you eat certainly
Lemons.
mangoes, lemons don't.
Lemons
have
are very
much,
low on sugar.
pretty low. Yeah. But if you eat dates are just pure sugar. Grapes there's almost nothing else but sugar.
Yep.
Grapes are you're just eating spoonfuls of sugar when you eat grapes. Grape juice, I mean, now it's like that's just really crazy. Like that shouldn't even be allowed to be sold. It's so bad
So
for you.
delicious.
Yeah,
So.
is it though? I
Grape
can't
juice?
drink it.
Yeah.
It's too sweet. So you like sugar. You like soda. though.
Yeah, I like sugar.
Yeah, you like soda.
Sugar.
I mean, I like sugar too.
Sugar's my thing. Like some people are like they like savory stuff or salty stuff.
Yeah.
Sugar is definitely my thing.
I mean, me too. You just saw me house like 6 cookies.
I wasn't gonna say anything.
But they're low sugar cookies, but they're still cookies.
You needed energy for this podcast.
I just am a hypocrite. But the point is,
I'll be isolating
say
that sound
directly into the microphone.
I need to get a soundboard where I can just play that anytime I disagree. Cool.
Anyways,
well,
so
thank
that's
you
a
for the
little
upgrade.
upgrade. Yeah, so
Beautiful.
Stop telling me fruit's healthy.
Everybody, stop telling Adam, especially in that voice.
It's not healthy.
Stop
eating fruit.
Don't be using that voice with
If
him.
you do want to eat fruit, you just have to eat less. Like you want to eat a banana, just eat half a banana. If you want to eat an apple, eat a quarter of an apple. Don't eat like a whole apple.
But
That's
bananas
crazy.
and apples don't save well. They get all like brown and you gotta eat the whole thing.
But have you seen apples and bananas?
The old deep Rafi cut. I know apples and bananas.
Of course.
Ooples and banunus.
Ooples and banunus.
I am very familiar.
I like some ooples
I
and
have
banunus.
gone through a small child's growing up. I know all the opals and bononos.
Oh, yeah.
I do.
Yeah. Well, hey there, everyone. I'm Adam Browse.
I'm Scott Moppin.
This is Solutions from the Multiverse.
Welcome back, everybody.
Every week we share a brand new solution that you've never heard before.
and we talk about it.
Yeah. We ask
Test it out and
questions,
see what's up.
Kick the tires.
I like it.
Yeah.
Wait a
we
minute.
also talk
You
about
can't use that phrase. That's a car phrase. You're not allowed to
you
use
can
that
kick
phrase.
bicycle tires.
Oh, okay.
You're gonna really paint me as a car hater.
I am not the one painting
car
you
hater.
as that.
I'm not a car hater.
You are a self-avowed car hater.
Here's what I am. I'm a traffic hater, just like everybody. Everybody hates traffic. So do I.
Are we talking about the Steven Soderbergh movie, Traffic?
No,
Because
I love that movie.
I like that movie.
No, I love that movie.
Okay, so
I'm
you're a
talking about
traffic
car
lover.
traffic.
Oh, sure.
See, I'm a car traffic hater. I'm a Steven Soderbergh traffic lover.
It's a tough
easy.
life for you.
It's easy. It's a paradox, but it's good. My brothers, they're twins. They're both doctors. You know what we call that?
Twin doctors?
Paradox.
Oh, no.
Okay, so we have a solution.
I'm so proud of you for that. I just got to still sit in it for a second. I'm very proud of you.
Absorb.
I have a nice smile on my face.
Paradox.
Okay.
It is true, too. I'm not lying. They're twins and they both are physicians.
Same kind of physician or?
No, one's a psychiatrist and one's a pulmonary specialist.
So you got a body guy and a mind guy.
Brain guy, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Body and brain covered all.
Cool.
All we need is a podiatrist.
You need and you cover the spirit, right?
Oh, but I'm not a doctor yet.
Are you working on being
I'm
a
working
doctor?
on a PhD.
Heck
Yeah,
yeah.
I got
Tell
a
me when I
plan.
have to call you Dr. Browse.
Oh, that would be great. One more Dr. Browse in the house. All my family is all Dr. Browse. My whole family except for me. I'm the dullard.
They introduce, they're like, my
This is
son,
our-
Dr. Browse,
yeah.
my other son, Dr.
Dr.
Browse, and this is our son, Adam.
Stupid. He eats mostly
And then-
paste.
We don't talk about
He
that.
has a
part.
podcast. We're very not proud of him.
My son who has a doctor, my other son who's a doctor, and this son hosts a podcast. And they're like, maybe you should like sandwich that in the middle so it doesn't
Yeah.
land so hard at the end there.
No, then they have the younger son, also a doctor.
Oh, you
My
have
younger
more?
brother is a soil scientist.
How many kids are in your
PhD,
family?
4 boys.
4 boys, 3 doctors?
I'm the dumb one.
Oh, no.
I am,
You
I am
got to
a
get that
professor,
PhD
though.
then.
I'm a professor. So I have the job of someone who has a PhD.
You have the ability to level up to professor doctor, and then you can finally
Correct.
have one up on them,
Correct.
right?
Then I'd be professor PhD. Yeah, that's good. Yeah.
Nice.
But yeah, I can tell you how I'm trying to get a PhD. Actually, everyone listening should know it's a
Are
kind
you
of a solution.
doing it through Elton College?
No. Although because Elton College doesn't have PhD programs
Yet. Okay.
Good growth mindset language.
How are you
That's
getting your...
good. I'm doing it through what's called a PhD by publication.
Okay.
So instead of writing a dissertation, so in America you have to do coursework and a dissertation. I sure as hell will not be doing any coursework. I don't like going to classes,
Okay.
and it never really did. And so I just want to do a dissertation. So in Europe, you can do a PhD just with a dissertation. So I applied to a couple programs in Europe. They rejected me. We talked about this a little bit on the podcast.
Yep.
So I was trying to rework it and seeing if I could get in. And then I found this thing. No, you don't have to. You just go publish journal articles in reputable journals, which there's lots.
Okay.
And you then get 3 to 5 publications. And once you have 3 to 5 publications, you just go apply for, you say, here's my publications. And you write a little like 25-page explanation of the meaning of your publications, kind of how they hang together.
Okay.
And then you just pay a little money and you do an oral exam and you get a PhD. It's called PhD by
Cool.
publication.
Well, good luck. What is the flavor of your PhD going to be? Like they have to be
philosophy,
Okay.
ethics. Yeah.
Nice. Well,
Yeah.
congratulations.
It's going
Let
to
me
be
know.
my misery minimizing theory.
We'll have a celebration here for you.
Yeah, it'll be fun. It's going to be years from now, but I'm almost done with the first paper.
Excellent.
I actually wrote the whole first draft, and then I realized it's trash, and I have to rewrite it. So I'm going to rewrite the whole thing.
It's Hemingway's classic first draft of everything, right?
First draft written, never read. Shortest novel ever.
For sale, for sale, one novel never read.
Yeah.
That's how I do all my submissions to my literary agents. For sale, one novel never
That's
read.
the title. That'd be a funny
They
title.
return it back and they're like, still never read.
Yeah.
No buy.
We should Still for sale. That actually would be a good title of a book. At this point, I think our culture has degraded enough that could be the title of a book. And people
down.
would be like, we've got to publish this. Okay, let's do a solution. I've got one. This
Yeah.
one's a little different. It's kind of emotional.
Okay.
So it's not, I'm not an expert. Nobody's an expert here. Certainly not Scott.
I did not jump in.
Shots fired.
I was not.
Not just about emotions, but about everything. We're just sort of two guys chatting.
Two guys chatting.
And
That should be what we call the podcast.
Ah, damn it! I think the podcast we should just change the name to Scott's Great Idea Show because the name is better and the logo you made is better. It's so much better. Like
It's just like an image generation.
it's great. I looked at your Scott's Great Idea Show and I was like, well, shoot, we should change it to look like that. That's so much better.
It's fancy design, I guess.
Yeah, it's really good. Maybe we should just change it. Still Solutions to the Multiverse, but have it look like that.
Have
from
it
the
look,
80s.
we could certainly try
That
it.
could be cool. Yeah.
I can generate one.
Great.
I know the website.
Let's do it. Let's generate away.
Okay.
Um.
So solution me. What's
So
up?
the solution is you should feel all your feelings.
You should feel all your feelings.
Yes. And I'll go even further and say each emotion that human beings are hardwired to feel
Mm-hmm.
has like a superpower that's very important for your life.
So we talked about last time the Pixar animation. So I understand the emotions are
Yes. Which
there's
5?
sadness, happiness, disgust, and anger.
And
These are the classic inside out emotions.
Joy.
And joy.
5.
Of course,
Joy's
the main character.
Yeah.
Wait, no, I said happiness. That's
Oh, sorry. To fear. Did you say fear?
fear I did not say.
Okay, fear.
I don't
Yeah.
acknowledge
I'm
that.
afraid
I don't acknowledge fear.
You exactly
Ever.
Subconscious. You just did it.
Oh, no.
Yeah. I got this idea because of therapy. My therapist gave me this great book back when I was in therapy. Oh, also Solution from the Multiverse, just sideline.
Yeah.
Therapy should be done in 6-month increments and then be stopped. And then you should have to re-enroll, I think.
Why?
Because if it's therapy forever, if the presumption is you just start therapy and you never end,
Mm-hmm.
that I think is bad. I think that's bad because then you aren't working towards like a kind of, well, I want to get better before 6 months is up.
When you say re-enroll, do you get to keep your same person or do you start over?
Of course,
okay,
of course.
because I wouldn't want to have to retell the same stories every 6 months.
Of course. You just keep the same
And
therapist.
then
maybe it'd be
4
better.
years old.
Maybe it'd be better to switch therapists. Because now you get to. Actually, that is probably a good idea. You do 6 months.
No,
with one.
I was just saying that's the one I don't want to happen.
Yeah, but you might not want it to happen. But the point is, are you trying to get healthy or not? Or are you just trying to kind of like talk to someone every week?
I'm just trying not to have to repeat myself in the same stories.
That's good. Okay, we don't have to fight about therapy. But anyways, that's a side solution. I think therapy should be done in 6-month increments and maybe switch therapists.
Like have it be therapy seasons. You have a couple a year. Okay.
Yeah. So maybe 3 or 4 a year.
I thought you were saying like you would make a mandatory downtime where people had to like process what they just did for that 6 months, but that's expecting a
That
lot
could
of
be
people
at the end,
to do.
I guess, or something. Well, I mean, the time in between when you stop working with the therapist and you work with the next one, you'd probably do that.
Okay.
Anyways, but so this guy gave me this great book that was called, it's a stupid title, but it's a good book. It's called Live Life Like You Mean It. Stupid title, but good book.
Okay.
It's all about feeling all your feelings. And it's wonderful. I mean, I didn't even really need therapy as much as I needed just that book. So I read the book and the guy explains that feelings are like really important. And every what I've found since I've talked to a lot of people and they independently will tell me this. They'll say, "Oh, I'm working on feeling various feelings better." And I'll be like, "I had the same experience. Like, what are you going through?" And I've had really different people tell me different things, but it generally goes down cultural lines and gender and cultural lines.
Interesting.
So I'll
tell
just
me more.
lay the land of what I've heard. And I'm not a scientist. I don't know this is not like a lot of the times I'll cite things that are like research based. I have not researched this. So this is just saying the experiences I've had with other people.
Mm-hmm.
But it seems like, and this is agreed with by the people I talk to, that women repress anger a lot. They have a complicated relationship with anger.
Yeah, that could make sense.
Because like if you're angry as a woman, you get all this negative responses like, bitch or whatever.
Yeah.
Angry woman. No one wants that.
If you kick off an anger, like men sometimes will get rageful and irate and not have to worry about their personal safety being directly compromised because of that.
Because you get a physical altercation.
So
the guy might
women
be
learn to be like, you know what? I'm going to modify what I would naturally say if all things were equal and going to make sure I don't set off any psychos in my general vicinity.
Right. Very good point. So they were like pushing down or kind of reformatting their anger, preventing themselves from really.
That would make sense.
Another one I noticed is that East Asian people also repress anger. They culturally consider anger to be just a complete trash emotion,
Okay.
like just bad, like the urge to steal. It's the same. Like anger is just a bad thing.
That seems more evolved, honestly.
It does, but it doesn't work.
No.
Well, we'll talk about how.
No, classically, I think if you bottle up your anger, it classically never goes wrong.
I've heard that works perfectly well. Yeah,
it never squirts out sideways
bursts out at the wrong time.
No, it just stays down in there
doesn't
forever.
Turn into like domestic violence or anything. Doesn't turn into alcoholism.
No, yeah, it's just no problems at all.
It's just down with brown. Down
what?
with brown.
Oh, no.
That's where you drink whiskey to push down your emotions.
Yeah, I'm glad you explained that, because that sounds, just as a phrase, really...
I might be saying down with Nazism, the brown shirts. Down with brown.
You might be, but you would also have to explain, because I feel like the normal decoding of that would be a little different.
Okay, so another cultural one. German people, I think, from being raised in a German family, German-American family, I think we don't do fear well, and we also don't. We also don't do sadness well.
Is this a weird way to self-compliment yourself? You're like, I'm just so courageous and brave.
No, because it's
just
not
naturally.
Courageous. It's dissociating.
I don't even feel fear, bro. I don't even know what that means.
Bullets bounce off me.
Be afraid? Maybe you. I have no clue what that's like.
Well, we'll get to these things are actually they're considered negative. Fear is negative. There's negative associations with it. Anger, negative associations with it. What I'm suggesting, and what I hope the solution for today is to say that there's captain feelings. That's really the solution. Captain feelings.
Captain feelings.
Like Captain Planet. 5 rings. The energy rings come together.
Now
make
we've
Captain
got
Planet.
Really
I'm
recent
talking
references. This
Captain feelings.
People know Captain Planet.
Every feeling actually has a positive energy that can come together and make your life better if you can understand how that feeling works. And this is what I think should be what we call emotional intelligence. But I when I've looked around at emotional intelligence materials and stuff, they sometimes they talk about this, but I think a lot of times they talk more about identifying feelings that maybe other people are feeling. Like, oh, you hurt Susie's feelings. Yeah. And that's emotional intelligence, which it sort of is, like empathy or whatever. But I think there's something more potent or there's something important about talking about understanding how each feeling is positive. It can have negative things, but it can be positive. And you have to really find that positivity in it. I mean,
we're back to Inside Out, because I hate to relate something to movies.
This is Inside Out. No,
that's
it
not
is.
True. I love to relate.
This is what Inside Out's about.
That whole thing is about every feeling has a purpose. You can't just shut out sadness and it goes all well. It's
right. Well, I think, but Inside Out though, they pretty much just talk about sadness.
That's their
fear and anger still are treated like
they're being goofballs,
and even disgust seems.
But I feel
useless.
like the overall thing is that all of them are useful. Like if it had been written where anger was tried to excise, there'd be a different issue.
But what good did anger do? Anger drove her to go get on the bus and run away. He didn't ever fix anything.
I don't know. They would have figured out something.
No, I think that's the problem. Well, that's a good movie because it shows that sadness has a benefit. And so the superpower of sadness is inviting tenderness.
Yeah.
Right? If you're sad, that everyone around you comes towards you with love.
Right.
That's great. That's the superpower of sadness. If you walk around and you're never sad around anyone, you never feel your sadness or show that you're sad, you won't be able to accept love. Yeah. You won't be able to feel that tenderness coming towards you. Sure. And so that's the example of sadness. And that's what that movie's about.
Yeah.
And that's great. But what I think people should understand is it's captain feelings, all 5. Happiness seems to be an obvious positive, right?
Yeah.
Happy, joy. Joy is just great. You want to have joy. You want to have joyful lives, right? It's great to feel joyful.
In order to build the feelings Voltron, we need all 5 lions, right?
Or feeling Power Ranger. It's all
really modern
5.
Useful things. Yeah.
Maybe that's always why it's 5. Right. So yeah. So they all have a superpower.
Okay.
So for example, fear helps you
stay safe.
Yeah, stay safe and shun evil.
Yeah, can you imagine if you had no fear? That's a recipe for someone who's super. Some people after a head injury are sometimes overly reckless or something like that. Yeah. It's a problem,
Right, not enough fear.
Yeah,
but also shunning evil. So someone who's extremely fearless also is willing to sort of do like kind of associate or be involved in evil things.
Sure.
Because they're like, yeah, we can crack some eggs to make an omelet. Like maybe we do need to like hurt someone for our goal because we're brave, and hurting people is scary, but we're brave.
An exercise I do all the time, which is what's the worst case scenario? They do that check and they're like, nothing. Care. There isn't one. Turns out there's no worst case scenario. This is all going to go great.
Let's just make the car go 100 miles an hour, like whatever. Yeah. So fear not only will make it so that you're safer and make your community safer, but it'll also make you shun evil more because evil is scary.
Yeah.
So in a way, fear, which we treat as being like even you just right when I said it, you were like, oh, being fearful is like, you were like, that's, it was like a negative response, which is normal, I think, because we all have a normal negative response to fear. Actually, fear should be and could be like cultivated in people's hearts and minds. Okay. In a positive way.
Wait, now you're saying you want to strike fear into the hearts of evildoers? Is this where you're going with this? Browse, are we getting back to your desire to be Batman every week?
I want to be one of the basic superheroes. I want to be one of the A grade.
Criminals are a cowardly, a superstitious and cowardly lot, famously. So
no, criminals are too fearless. Right? True. They're too fearless. They don't fear the law. They don't fear the harm of their actions. They don't fear the repercussions. They don't have enough fear.
Well, and a lot of fear is, thinking outside of the immediate moment. You're like imagining what the repercussions, the effects of the cause and effect chain, instead of just worrying about the cause of what's happening.
Right.
Now,
so fear can be really positive.
I've heard a quote about fear that I love, and I heard it probably 10 years ago, and it sticks with me always. And it's more about anger, but it says, anger is hot fear. It's like an old Buddhist proverb. It's like, if you are feeling anger, you kind of like dive in and look, and somewhere at the bottom is fear. There's a fear triggering or causing that. And I've latched onto that because I examined it myself, because I deal with anger and fear too. And I'm like, it seems pretty right on whenever I do the exercise. It seems very right on.
That's what this guy in this book talked about too. He said that feelings that we feel uncomfortable with, largely because it was the way
this is
we
the live life
raised.
Like you mean in the book. Okay. Yeah.
But largely because of the way we were raised, we were given fluency around some feelings, but disfluency around others.
Sure.
He doesn't use this language. He talks about feeling phobia. I don't like that. The book has a good core idea, but it's not packaged well.
You would give it an edit and change.
Yeah, I would give it an edit, but it is easy to read. I think that's the best part about it. You don't have to have some kind of PhD to read it. You can just read it, and it makes sense to everyone. But he says, so we have this kind of fluency or adroitness with some, and we have this kind of maladroitness or disfluency with others. And when we have that disfluency, we take refuge in the feelings we do feel comfortable in. So when we're scared, if we're not very good at dealing with fear or seeing the positive side of fear and manipulating fear into positivity in our lives, we go take refuge in the feelings we do know how we feel more comfortable in, or we feel more adroit in. And with men, that's like you're saying it the same as my experience too. You feel afraid, you feel worried, which is the same as fear. Worry is just another kind of fear. Or you feel sad, and maybe you don't know how to feel sad. You just go feel angry, because men were told in every movie, in every book, in every video game, in every song,
society
men
says
can be angry.
Yeah, that's the acceptable one.
Totally
You're not allowed
acceptable.
to be afraid or scared,
and very few consequences for being angry. Right? That's just like, oh, you're angry. As long as you don't, kill somebody, you're fine to just being angry.
It does have there's an unfortunate positive where like, it's good to do anger, but not sadness or fear.
Yeah.
Men crying, how dare you?
Yeah, right.
Men
or even
killing,
men being scared.
Men killing, thumbs up. There we go.
Right. Super angry because they did so. That's literally every movie is like John Wick that killed his dog. He's sad, and so then he goes and is angry the whole time and kills a bunch of people.
Yeah,
it's like Jesus Christ.
It's a good dog, man. I understand.
That was one good dog.
Yeah, I think it was a good dog.
Is that your Keanu Reeves?
That's my Keanu.
Oh God. I can't even remember what the solution is anymore. Oh yeah, Captain Feelings.
Captain Feelings.
Yeah, wait. Let me tell you. I was trying to brainstorm what the benefits of the other feelings are. So another one is disgust, which also wasn't really taken up very well in in the Inside Out.
Yeah, that
It
was the
just
Mindy
sort of a
Kaling
total
character, right?
character. But if you think about it, disgust properly, like positively, its positive force in your life
Mm-hmm.
is honor, right?
Okay.
Conscientiousness and cleanliness.
How is I'm sure how is disgust linked to honor? Like, how do you? What's that pathway?
Because your honor is the sort of the opposite of disgusting behavior.
Disgust keeps you from doing
avoiding
unhonorable things.
Dishonorable things.
Because you're like, I wouldn't be able to live with myself if I was that type of person.
But so disgust actually protects you from shameful acts, from dirty things, from having a home that's messy and a pigsty, and having a life that's not full of healthful, good, things like drugs.
Probably keeps you from eating like rancid meat and
protects you from, and even just unhealthy
milk.
Food. If you get disgusted by, if this is not healthy, then if you have a strong sense of disgust, it will prevent you from wanting the things that are disgusting.
Now, my 10-year-old daughter's sense of disgust keeps her from wanting to eat like salads and broccoli and very healthy things.
Yeah.
So it's not quite.
Maybe they're just not cooked.
It's not
properly.
quite tuned in. How dare you?
Like, I used to hate salads until someone made me like a really good salad.
Until someone cooked the salad properly for you.
Lettuce. Put that thing in an air fryer.
You take this salad, take
lettuce.
this Caesar salad and throw it in the microwave for me, friend.
Oh yeah.
I want it
bring it up
really
to temp.
cooked.
Yeah. Put a temp thermometer in that salad bowl.
No, there's definitely something to be said about someone who knows their way around food, making the food versus like, I don't know, I'm throwing things together.
Like if someone's like, oh, salad, eat this spinach. I'm like, gross. But if someone's like, oh, look, I put strawberries and goat milk and, like a strawberry vinaigrette on it. I'm like, give me that salad. Just give me that salad. That sounds delicious. So, I mean, you got to. Also, I don't know, but kids are weird. Like, I swear to God, I've seen kids eat like just crackers for 2 years and they grow like 1.5 feet and put on like 50 pounds of like muscle and bone. I'm like, I don't think that's how did they do that? They didn't eat any protein.
They're weird. Yeah, you're right. The bodies are weird. And then when you're an adult, you have those habits locked in and your body's like, now I'll be normal. And you're like, no.
Still put on 50 pounds, but it was
not quite in the right way.
Different. Yeah, those crackers are good though.
All right, so disgust is useful. You got me on there. Fear, we've kind of talked about.
Fight evil.
Bring me to anger. Why is anger helpful?
Okay.
Because I don't think...
Yeah.
I can't think of one right off.
I know. Because we have especially in our culture now, I think we're starting to kind of be very anti-anger. But if you think about it, anger directed towards bullies is great. Anger directed towards injustices are great.
Anger is sort of a fuel.
Yeah.
And like an internal fuel that can help you do something, like
change something.
Do action.
Yeah.
Anger can move
something.
you to action.
Yeah, right.
Okay.
So if you find an environment that needs to be changed, anger is the accurate and positive response. Now, not blow up and knock over, not crazy, not lose your mind anger. But, if you're sitting there and you say, this upsets me, this situation should be different than it is. They're angry and they should be angry, and then they can use that to drive the change that needs to happen.
Well, I mean, and maybe every emotion has sort of a off kilter extreme version that's not good. I mean, even joy, it's like when you get manic, it's not good anymore, or when you have sadness, it's fine, but when you get to depression, it's not good anymore. Fear is good, but if you are petrified of everything, there's an extreme version. So maybe anger is fine, but rage is the version that, or wrath or something like that is like, no. Now we're off kilter. Or
just, I mean, even wrath, I think, is good as long as it's highly focused.
Okay, Mr. Seven Killer.
As long as it's highly focused and controlled. It's like a laser. Like you can use a laser to cure somebody's eye, cataracts in their eyes.
Yeah.
But, if so lasers can be useful, to speak metaphorically. Like if you really, like, for example, like, I don't think that
without lasers, we don't have Tupac showing up at Coachella in hologram form,
which means
they're definitely
deprived of Tupac hologram.
Yeah,
holographic Tupac.
that's the highest form of laser usage to me. I think that's the pinnacle.
Peak lasers. I was thinking eye surgery, but you're right.
Well, eye surgery is number 2.
Doesn't like the James Webb Space Telescope use lasers? No, it doesn't. They probably did use lasers to like, make it. Like to
it might
build
use
it.
They have laser telescopes, right?
I think so.
That's how they bounce. They bounce light off of things and
see it
pick
back.
the echo back.
But wouldn't you have to let it go all the way there and all the way back? It wouldn't be practical.
There's something about it. No, I think they shoot it and see how much is like absorbed by things. I don't know. I can't talk.
I'm sure
I can't talk knowledgeably about space stuff.
But the point is lasers. That's the point.
Okay, you were doing this whole thing to get to the solution is lasers.
Anyways, so Captain Feelings. So the trick is to feel all your feelings. I was talking to a youngish woman who was saying she's an Indian woman, Southern Asian, and she was saying, I'm really learning how to feel all my feelings. And she was really, she said the real big block and like what she didn't know how to deal with was anger. And she was getting into it. She was loving it. She was like, I'm really embracing and starting to understand how to like feel angry and then use it positively. Because otherwise it burns out of control, or you suppress it and it goes underground. But if you really learn how to use it, I think a lot of men actually who don't have anger issues, men, they're all generally pretty good at anger because it's such an okay emotion for men to feel.
Sure, and it's encouraged from
from birth,
or not discouraged, rather.
Yeah, and so it was so cool to hear her describing like starting to really understand how she can use that to like change her life for the better.
Interesting.
She can go into her workplace and like tell people right to their faces like, this isn't acceptable for me. We're not going to do it this way. We're going to do it this way. And everyone goes, okay. And she's like, that felt good. And it's like, yeah, that's great. She's using anger in this super positive way.
Interesting.
And same thing in her like home. She was like, this is how I use my anger, like to protect my kids. Like, I don't want to be angry at my kids and have them think of me as like angry, but I do want to change things about the way their behavior is or the way, the household is working. And so she did these really creative ways to like actually use her anger, but not have it be this negative, oh, mom's angry thing. So it's very cool.
I go grocery shopping when I'm very angry. I come home and I just whip the peaches into the refrigerator.
No peaches, Scott. They're too sweet.
No? Stone fruit? No good?
No.
Fine.
Okay, peaches. No.
Millions of peaches?
Blueberries.
Peaches for me?
Peaches, yeah. Bananas. Yeah. But anyway, so yeah, that was really cool to hear her getting to this level of adroitness and fluency with anger that she was just she was deprived from because her society told her anger's bad and women can't feel angry or be angry ever, and also can't really change their situations. They're kind of locked into just whatever.
In order to become Captain Feelings, you have to be in touch with all five. You can't leave one out.
Yeah, you gotta become Voltron.
Yeah.
So that's the idea. Everybody feel your feelings. So probably if you're listening to
wait, how do we do it? Let's leave someone with
everyone should just make a tally in their mind or write it down.
Okay.
There's just 5 feelings. Mm-hmm. Every other feeling is a subcategory of those 5. Yeah.
And if you forget, just go watch Inside Out.
Watch Inside Out.
It's perfect.
And then maybe some people are just like talented from their upbringing and they're just Captain Feelings naturally.
Sure.
But most people have adroitness with 2 or 3 emotions and maladroitness with 1 or 2 emotions.
Makes sense.
So I would just give yourself a scorecard. And if you say, well, I don't feel that feeling ever, give yourself a 0, because that means that's the one you're the worst at. Because everyone needs all 5 to work, to even operate in the world. You can't. It's just part of human nature.
And then your score tells you what to focus
work on. Yeah.
Enhancing or
and
getting in touch with.
Get in touch with, oh man, I never feel fear. That means you do feel fear all the time and you don't know what fear feels like.
You shut it down. You're so walled off. Yeah.
And so look for the feelings you're going to hide in. So look at all the times you're angry and say, maybe I'm fearful. Like you said, fear is hot anger or anger is fear. Hot fear. Yeah, anger is hot fear. And say, oh man, I'm sad all the time. Like I've met, I think it's also somewhat gendered, what we're saying is somewhat gendered, but I think it's rightfully gendered. You'll meet maybe like a girl who's like sad all the time, but maybe really she's angry, but she's not allowed to like express her anger in a positive way. So she just gets sad.
It gets knocked off to the next.
Yeah. To the one
that's
feels
acceptable.
Comfortable with, or that she has adroitness with, or that's socially acceptable. I don't want to get totally into like what's socially acceptable because then that makes people into victims. I just think society you become adroit with certain emotions. You become capable and fluent in them.
Sure.
And so when you encounter an emotion you're not as fluent with, you generally poach over to the one you are fluent in.
Yeah.
And partly have to do with society and blah, blah, blah. But I don't want to blame society. I just want to say everyone can move into their other emotions. Society won't stop you. You won't go to jail. You won't, we're not in Iran where like an angry woman will be jailed. You know what I mean? Like you can be angry. It's fine. And if you're doing it badly, you probably it'll be clear. Like if you're being maladroit with it, if you just say, oh, I'm not very good at anger, so I'm just going to be pissed all the time. It's not good. That's not adroitness.
That's not the fix either.
Yeah, exactly. Or like, I just want to be, I never felt sadness before. Now I really understand sadness better. So I'm just going to mope around and be sad all the time. Doesn't work either. You're
looking for a balance essentially.
Well,
right?
It's that adroitness. It's that like using it really effectively, really tapping into it as an energy in your life rather than seeing it as, just a thing that overtakes you and then you're just awash in it. Oh, I can't, I'm awash in this emotion. It's like, no, it's an energy that you can tap into. Your fear can make you, yeah.
Fear leads to anger. Anger leads to
the dark side. No, to
what is it?
To the dark side.
No, there's one in between anger and the dark side, right?
Anger leads to fear.
Fear leads
to lightsabers.
Fear leads to lightsabers.
Lightsabers lead to the force.
Dark side.
Oh, the force.
I'm gonna have to edit out that part earlier where you said you were Mr. Sci-Fi because you can't.
Oh well,
we can't do this one.
Star Wars isn't sci-fi. Star Wars is a space opera.
Star Wars isn't sci-fi.
It's a space opera.
It's the sci-fi.
When they asked George Lucas, what are you working on when he was working on Star Wars? When he was pitching it to people, he said, "I'm pitching Knights of the Round Table, but played as samurais in outer space."
Okay.
And people were like,
fair.
good luck with that.
It is like
that
a
sounds
fantasy.
like a really crazy pitch.
Right.
So, well, cool. That's Captain Feelings. I think this is a good solution, right? A lot of times our solutions are very depersonal, like society, democracy, blah, 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 how other people should behave, how the government should work or something. This one is very personal, and we were able to be a little vulnerable, share.
I got the quote. It is Yoda, and he says, "Fear is the path to the dark side. Fear leads to anger. Anger leads to hate. Hate leads to suffering." So there's obviously some Star Wars fans out there listening to that who are like, "Thank you." They were screaming at their phones.
Yeah.
They're like, "How do these dum-dums not know this?"
I hope Captain Feelings is a solution that really connects with people.
I hope so.
I hope it's not like, oh, you have to have some opinion
and maybe there's someone out there who this is the little push to get over the hill of like being okay with an emotion that they were a little bit standoffish
and
with.
Just no emotion's bad. If you are sitting here thinking you're wrong, this emotion is bad. Disgust is not good. You should just remove all disgusting things from your life so you can never feel disgust. And disgust is bad. And if you feel disgust, you should just escape it as quickly as possible. It's like, I'm here to tell you, it's not true.
So if they're sitting there listening and they have a feeling like we don't know what we're talking about, that's valid. That they should go with that, right?
Because I'm not.
That's wrong. That feeling is wrong.
You're using feeling metaphorically. When I don't like this. No, I don't like this. When
I was using it instead of opinion.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. You're like, I feel like this is an issue. I feel like climate change is bad. It's like you don't feel like climate change is bad. You can only feel 5 things. The 5 emotions. That's feelings.
Yeah.
You might think climate change is bad. You might opine that climate change is bad. You might believe that climate change is bad. You don't feel that.
No, I joy that climate change is bad.
Joy.
That's how I go.
Climate change gives me a lot of feelings, mostly anger to change it, and fear, and disgust because it's dirty.
Right.
And fear because it's
a little sadness.
Destroy things. A lot of sadness, or even
really joy is the only one that doesn't show up.
Joy is the only. Well, San Francisco's.
You're like,
nicer weather.
There's going to be giant.
The weather in San Francisco.
Giant waves. That'll be fun.
Yeah, there isn't really much joy around climate change.
All right. Well.
Okay. We'll finish.
This is fantastic. Thank you. We got it. Captain
Voltron
Feelings.
Feelings.
Voltron. Yep. Whatever your Power Rangers feel. Whatever your
feel all your feelings.
Era of 5 things coming into one.
Yes.
That's what we're talking about.
Yep. Get out there. Feel those feelings.
Well. Come back next week. Subscribe.
I'll say one more thing.
Oh,
There's one thing he says in the book that's really good, which he says happiness is actually the harmony of your feelings. I think Captain Feelings is itself happiness.
Happiness is the harmony of your feelings.
Yeah. So if,
I can get with
you're
that.
able to do all 5 feelings really positively and harmoniously, that is he says that is the definition of happiness.
Sweet.
Happiness isn't just getting everything you want. Happiness isn't like all the things people say happiness is. It might be this. It might be that if you can get Captain Feelings firing, if Voltron, if all the legs and arms come together, then that might actually be happiness itself.
Nice.
Independent of what you own or, anything really.
Right.
Because people can be happy who have very little.
Right. Or Great Gatsby style, people can get everything in the world
be really
and
unhappy
be pretty
because
miserable.
Their emotions are all out of whack.
Right.
Yeah. So anyways, sorry, I cut you off. Yes, people should subscribe.
Rate,
tell
review.
A friend.
Check out our YouTube.
Send
Come back
this
here
to
next
somebody
week.
who's not feeling all their feelings.
All the things.
Yeah.
All the things.
And
You've
come
listened
back.
to podcasts before. This is nobody's first podcast ever. This is nobody's.
If they are welcome.
Oh yeah, sorry.
To
I
the
didn't mean
realm
to
of
diminish.
podcasts.
If they were, then this is their
And you
last
can also
podcast.
just
They're
let
like,
this play, and it'll probably play the next episode, like the previous or the next. Just let it ride.
as long as there's no climate disaster before we record it.
Keep it climate-y.
Keep it climate-y, everyone. All right.
Take care, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.